Every law of nature tells us one thing: what goes up must come down. Yet for over a century, humans have refused to listen. We've built machines that pierce the sky, structures that kiss the clouds, and engines that roar against gravity's pull. We've learned to fly, to orbit, to touch the stars. But each victory carries a price. Because when we challenge nature, nature sometimes reminds us who's in charge. This is the story of our greatest defiance and our greatest downfall. The triumphs that lifted humanity beyond gravity, and the failures that brought us crashing back to Earth. In 1903, on the sands of Kitty Hawk, two brothers from Ohio did the impossible. Wilbur and Orville Wright, bicycle makers, built a fragile craft of wood and canvas that broke one of nature's oldest rules. It flew for just 12 seconds, but those 12 seconds changed everything. For centuries, humans had dreamt of wings. Myths told of Icarus, of men who flew too close to the sun. But now, flight was real, a mechanical miracle that turned gravity into an adversary to be conquered. Those early aviators weren't just dreamers. They were daredevils. Every takeoff was an experiment. Every landing a lesson. Some paid with their lives. But with each crash, humanity learned a little more about how to stay in the sky. By the 1920s, the air was no longer a mystery, it was a frontier. Engines grew stronger. Aircraft flew higher. And with every success, gravity's pull seemed weaker. But the higher we flew, the more we risked the fall. When the world went to war, engineering became a weapon. The sky was no longer a place of wonder. It was a battlefield. Aircraft transformed from fragile frames to steel predators. Engines burned hotter, wings sliced faster, and men fought battles at altitudes where breathing itself became a challenge. In the desperate pursuit of advantage, engineers pushed physics to the edge. The jet engine was born, and with it, a new speed of war. But speed came with danger. Pilots faced the unknown. Shockwaves, instability, and the invisible wall of sound. Breaking the sound barrier was more than a technological feat. It was an act of defiance against nature itself. When Chuck Yeager crossed Mach 1, the sky didn't break him, but countless others never returned from their flights. Every breakthrough carried tragedy. Every success was built on wreckage and risk. For the first time, humanity began to see that conquering gravity was not a victory. It was a constant negotiation. Once the skies were mastered, the gaze of humankind turned upward again to space. Gravity had always been our keeper, our anchor to Earth. But the dream of leaving it behind became the next great challenge. The 1960s birthed the space age, a time when engineers built machines to escape the planet itself. The Saturn V rocket, a tower of steel and fire, became the symbol of human ambition. 3 million parts, each one needing to work in perfect harmony, because in space, there's no room for error. For a brief, shining moment, it worked. Men walked on the moon. Humanity stood beyond gravity's reach. But nature is patient and unforgiving. In 1986, the world watched in horror as the Space Shuttle Challenger disintegrated just 73 seconds after launch. It wasn't an act of sabotage or fate. It was a flaw in design, overlooked by human confidence. Gravity had claimed its due. And again, in 2003, when Columbia burned upon re-entry, we were reminded that for every triumph that touches the stars, there's a failure waiting in the void. Even in the quiet vacuum of space, the laws of nature never sleep. Defying gravity isn't limited to the skies. On Earth, engineers fight the same battle every day. In every bridge, every tower, every structure that shouldn't be standing, but does. Skyscrapers sway in the wind, balanced between design and disaster. Bridges stretch across impossible distances, suspended by mathematics and faith. Every structure is a silent rebellion against gravity's command. But sometimes gravity wins. The The Tacoma Narrows Bridge twisted itself into history in 1940, collapsing in a violent dance of wind and resonance. A reminder that beauty without balance is a recipe for failure. Modern technology has made us smarter. Simulations predict forces, materials are stronger, and machines calculate what humans once guessed. Yet, the universe still surprises us. When the Millennium Tower in San Francisco began to sink, engineers were humbled again. No matter how advanced we become, nature always has the final say. And still we build. Because to create something that stands against the pull of the earth is to prove that imagination can weigh more than gravity itself. Today, the war against gravity enters a new era. Rockets land themselves. Electric planes take flight. AI designs shapes no human hand could imagine. We are not just defying nature, we are redefining it. But new frontiers bring new risks. Tomorrow's failures won't always be explosions or collapses. They'll be silent lines of code, invisible mistakes hidden in algorithms. We've moved from metal and fire to silicon and software. And in this new age, gravity isn't the only force we fight. We now battle the limits of our own understanding. The next great fall may not be from the sky, but from our own creations. Still, the spirit that began at Kitty Hawk remains. The same human heartbeat that refused to stay grounded continues to drive us higher. Because to be human is to defy, to question, to rise. For centuries, we've waged a quiet war against the pull of the earth, and in so many ways we've won. But every victory reminds us of something essential. Gravity is not our enemy. It's our greatest teacher. Keeps us humble, keeps us human. To defy nature's laws is to dream. To fail is to learn. And to rise again, that is engineering's greatest art. Beyond gravity lies courage. Beyond fear lies innovation. And beyond every failure lies another chance to soar. If this journey inspired you, explore more stories of flight, engineering, and innovation. Subscribe to our channel and join us, where the world's greatest machines take to the skies. This is SkyForge Aviation. Subscribe, learn, soar.